what's up, Jeff? This is a demo video. It's not going to be too quick, but because we've got two sabers to go over. First one that I posted today was the Flagship. This was a copy of the one that I did for Rancho Obi-Wan that you had me do. So this is all done and installed. So we'll go over this one first. And then I held off on doing that demo because I wanted to get this one done for you today as well. So this is your 7 chambers SKIG. With a little bit of something extra here in the chamber that we'll go over second. Okay, so we'll put this off to the side. Both of these have been installed with all the sound fonts that you gave me or that you wanted. They've got Proffie V2s. They both have CCSabers LEDs in there that you provided me. And then this is a 2-button setup. So I use this aluminum dual tactile switch from Robert Sotomayor over at Sabers. The top switch will be your activation, and then the bottom switch down here will be your auxiliary. And then how you get to everything is you just unscrew this handle here. I'm going to try to show the etch on camera. I don't know if it's going to pick up very well, but I did post the pictures, obviously, that you saw. Yeah. Just like that. So we'll unscrew this handle. This one has a clear resin chassis that I designed and then I printed. And this is your chassis right here. It does say Rancho Obi-Wan. You'll be able to see that when you get it in person. Solo Sabers over here in Arabesh, and then there's a Smuggler's Outpost emblem. I like to make the chassis clear on this because if you can see that, there's a 10 pixel strip in there, and then there's another one over here on this side. So this thing lights up and it does a lot of cool stuff. And I'll throw a blade in and show you. But before I do, well, I guess I forgot. Here's your Proffie board. Now your Proffie it is adhesed to the chassis because you can get to your SD card and your micro USB from here, and you never have to lift the board. But there's so many wires and resistors and stuff happening underneath this guy. I didn't want it accidentally popping up on you and hitting the inside of this handle and then frying something. So it is adhesed down to the chassis, but I programmed it and everything from here, and so you can too if you ever decide to do that. And then you got a removable battery setup, and spring side is your negative. So we'll throw a battery in this guy. Now you can see, I'll turn this light off. This is what it does when the chassis is off on this particular font, right? So it's just kind of scrolling back and forth, and then when you turn it on, green blade, LEDs firing up, some nice shine through your windows here. And then your chassis doing this number, and then when you hit auxiliary, you're going to see that animation on the chassis. Blade lock up, you get that animation on the chassis until you pull away from it, and then we'll twist off. So yeah, I just always think this is pretty cool to do, and it gives some nice visual effects. So we throw this handle on. Oh, sorry. You've got on both of these sabers, you're running 28 millimeter Smuggler's Outpost dark side speakers. I wanted these guys to have a little bit more bass, so that's what we did. All right, so we'll throw the handle on. Even with this handle on, you can kind of see your chassis through the pommel doing its thing. It's not lighting up too much, but you can kind of see it going on there. So yeah, you do have motion controls, good smooth swing action, twist off, or we could just hit power and then hit power again to turn it off. Both of these sabers take 1-inch diameter blades, so I'm going to throw a 1-inch diameter NeoPixel blade in here, and we will fire this guy up. I don't think I have to use your blade retention on this guy, but your blade retention screw is right here in case you need it. The emitter is a little tight. There we go. So everything's working really good there like it should. Super solid. Tap for blaster deflex. hit the blade or the saber for blade lock up. You can see that there, and I showed you that animation on your chassis until you pull away from it. We'll twist off. We'll go to the next one. We got a nice blue there. Go to the next one.
If you will not turn to the dark side, then perhaps she will.
So at any time, if you want to change colors, this is a green, let's say you want a red, right? Just hold down your auxiliary and tap your power. You'll hear that button, or that noise. Now we can just twist the saber and go through a couple different colors until we find something we like. Like say we're looking for a red. We find a red about right there. Just tap the power button. Just like that, and you'll hear that. So now when we turn this back on, we've got a red blade. And of course, to get to your soundtrack, just hold down your power for a second and let go. And do the same thing to turn it off. Hold down for a second. So now we're into the stock fonts.
Smooth Jedi.
And I left the entire stock font package on there for you. Just like that. So we'll take the blade out if we can. It is in there super tight. You might have to do a little bit of sanding to the blades that you've got. Not a big deal though. We'll take that out and we'll just go through taking the battery out on this guy. We want to come over here and unscrew the handle. And then it should be very easy to pop out with your finger. Just come over here from the positive side. Pop it out just like that. And that is pretty much your flagship. So we'll put this back on for safekeeping and we'll move on to the Starkiller. So here we've got your Starkiller. We did do some like medium weathering on this guy all around. Right down to the pommel area. Did some real heat bluing on the emitter because the emitter is steel, so I used a torch for that. CCSabers in there like we talked about. This chamber rod, or this chamber, has a lot of stuff going on in it. So in the very back is a stock Graflex clamp card. It's a 7-pixel clamp card that I like to put back there. I actually modeled these chamber fins, and I modeled them to hold that card. So that's what they're held in there with. Now your chamber rod that's coming down, that is a rod made by Phil Guinness over at Caluminium Customs. I have a few of those, so I used one in here, and it looks really nice. It's a lot better than the stock rod that comes with the Saber, in my opinion. So I swapped that out. That's a real quartz crystal in there. I liked how that fit in there. Now, sometimes I will crack these guys for light refraction unless I find that I have a crystal like this. It's a frosted quartz and it shines really well. So I don't crack those because the light just hits them really well. You'll see that when I light it up. So that's what we did there. And then the crystal is sitting inside of a crystal holder that I modeled and I resin printed as well. I resin printed the chamber fins and the crystal holder, and then I just spray painted them gold, so that they look like some gold that was in there. And that's what I did there. Now to get to everything, you just want to unscrew the handle. Just like that. And then here is your chassis. It's a PLA chassis, but I got some force lightning coming from the front to the back. Here's your Proffie board. It is a tight snap fit down into the chassis, so if you want to get to your SD card, you would have to come up and pop that board up like this. It's a very tight snap fit. That's what I like to do, and it holds it very well. And again, you've got a 28mm Smuggler's Outpost dark side speaker here, and then a removable battery setup. So spring side is your negative over here for your battery. And yeah, let's throw a battery in this guy. So we're going to throw the handle on. And then as you can see, I've got your crystal chamber doing a few things when the saber is off. So it's just kind of scrolling now, like so the crystal is red and it's pulsating, and then you've got a gold scroll there until you turn it on, and then you've got that. Those are firing up right. Crystal chamber. Nice smooth swing. Auxiliary's back here. And then power's up front. So you can just turn it off like that. This is your blade retention right here. So you just want to take this and back it out of the emitter. And we'll do that real quick. Make sure it's all the way out of there, which it is now. I make my own PCB holder to fit that crawl chin PCB down inside the top part of this chamber so that you can get the maximum amount of blade depth. And it works out pretty well. So we'll put this blade in here, we'll lock it down. Tap for blaster deflex. You see that animation in your chamber. Or hit it for blade lockup. You'll see that in your blade, but you'll see it in your chamber as well. Until you pull away from it. And we'll go to the next sound font. You got a little something different going on. I tried to do a little something different on each font. Everything's sounding good. We'll go to our soundtrack. Next font.
I know the true power of the dark side.
This is more like the I think this is the kit scanner from the old TV show. And then you just got a little bit of that going on. Just like that. And then I left all the stock fonts on here. So when you get to the stock fonts,
Smooth fuzz.
the crystal chamber will mimic your blade. So you see you got a red blade, red crystal, and a red clamp card. And that's what those are doing. Just like that. So we'll take the blade out of here and then go over taking the battery out of this guy, which is super easy to do. I just like to do it on camera one time. So we'll just unscrew the handle. Come over here from the positive side, which is by your speaker. Should be able to pop it out with your finger just like that, no problem. And then just throw your handle back on so the chassis doesn't get ruined. Just like that. So yeah, those are your sabers, sir. Let me know if you got any questions. If not, I will send this one out, or I'll send both of these out with the ray that I need to do some maintenance on your switch. I'll send all three of those sabers out tomorrow. All right, thanks, man.